Ready? Four, here goes!
Around here, we just can't get enough Fooly Cooly.
So in case you missed the premiere, we're running it back again.
How'd she do that?
Catch Fooly Cooly Grunge in its entirety.
That's homework.
Next Saturday from midnight till 1:30 a.m.
Only Toonami on Adult Swim.
Let's rock and roll!
The following program may contain coarse language, suggestive dialogue, and discussion of violent imagery and sexual situations. It is intended for mature listeners who can tell the difference between facts and opinions.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and we feel fine on this episode of the Toonami Faithful Podcast. I am your host, Sketch, and with me I have...
editorial writer, LaserKid.
And our returning guest...
Jesse Betteridge from the Zannen Canada Podcast.
Hey, Jesse, we didn't have you on since Housing Complex C, I think.
That was a while ago, and I'm glad to be back.
Almost exactly a year.
Yeah, and not a whole lot has happened on Adult Swim Canada Anime since then.
Well, to be fair, not a whole lot has happened on Adult Swim US.
No, not really.
You know what? At this point, I'm pretty sure we're never going to get a Toonami in Canada, and it's too bad because the Toonami in the States has set the bar so low at this point that I don't think it has ever been easier for Adult Swim Canada to try and just outright imitate the block. Because at some point,
yeah,
it's
just call up Viz, get Naruto, call up Toei, and get One Piece.
I mean, pretty soon, I think One Piece is going to be the only third-party title they would need to get.
Burning through that Naruto. There's only like 38 episodes left.
And I guess they gave up on Boruto, right? They ran a bit of that, and then
they allegedly it didn't get the audience that they wanted. But at this point, I wouldn't put it past them to go back to it, just to have something. But honestly, I almost feel like they would just go back to original Naruto.
Yeah, never underestimate Naruto nostalgia.
Naruto nostalgia is very powerful.
It is.
It's extremely powerful. And yet, Naruto's not the one getting the balloon in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. No, it's Monkey D. Luffy. What?
Yeah!
One Piece fans keep winning.
It is the year of the Straw Hats.
We long lamented just the anti-nostalgia that One Piece had for so long because of 4Kids, but they're getting the last laugh now. So
they are. They're getting the last laugh now.
Ooh, I see what you did
there. Yeah, you all saw what I did there. I mean, for real though, it's all because the Netflix show was successful.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'll take it.
Yeah, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm just almost a little bit surprised that the balloon's not modeled after live action Luffy. Which, quite frankly, would be a bit that would be a bit much. We're not here to talk about One Piece. But I always want to talk about One Piece.
And unfortunately, I'm with you, so we're going to make One Piece jokes whether we like it or not.
It's true. It's gonna happen. Well, we're here to talk about Fooly Cooly Shoegaze, Episode 2, Generational Battle, or Geno Battle. They're doing this kind of weird naming scheme with these episodes, which, whatever. In which the focus as the title would imply, is about a generational battle. It's the millennials versus the Zoomers.
Oh boy!
Where Kana, our previous protagonist in Fooly Cooly Alternative, is now the boring adult that's having to deal with like this teenage girl who's just a brat. Just a total brat. But every now and then she says something that kind of makes sense.
Poor Kana. She's just like completely squeezed in the middle now. Like she's got this. I can't remember what the timeline is. I guess she would be the very youngest of millennials. I think
maybe. I just wanted to make the comparison, but I think maybe she's supposed to be 27. So
whatever the time, it's futile to try and figure out the time.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know what era, what planet would. we don't know.
But like many millennials, she's kind of forced to become an adult, but is also sort of denied the ability to be perceived as an adult.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's this is hitting a little too close to home.
Yeah, kinda.
It's in the in Fooly Cooly Alternative, I thought the Conda guy I thought he was pretty cool, I thought he was all right.
I did too.
But clearly he has some machinations here, and I don't know if I like this guy anymore.
We got our older generation denying the younger generation taking their own path and just forcing them to revert society back to a way that benefits old people. Like, never seen these themes in Japanese media before.
Never.
Nope.
Never.
Never. Yeah, we got multiple generational battles here. It's but as somebody who thoroughly enjoyed Fooly Cooly Alternative and rather liked Kana as a character, I really like that we're getting into this with Kana. We're seeing, how her life kind of spiraled out of her control as she entered adulthood, and how Kanda took advantage of her ability to create NO, and how that all really didn't work out, and now she's just kind of stuck dealing with this situation where she can't give them what they want from her, but she's not allowed to move on with her life.
So she's got that key thing they need. So she's kind of stuck, and she wouldn't get on that bus. She could have gotten on that bus, to become a real adult, but she didn't. So now she's she's older, but she's still under the thumb of the quote unquote real adults. It just doesn't end.
And speaking as a bus driver, I felt like that bus driver's demeanor was maybe a little less friendly than it should have been. Look, I get it when people are just standing at a bus stop and I'm like, are you getting on the bus? Would you like a ride? I get it, but at the same time, it's like, sometimes people are just standing by a bus stop. But I will ask you, why are you standing there at a bus stop if you don't want to ride the bus? But it's because she had a change of heart at the last minute. Yeah. And they had to pull on our heartstrings by showing us that vision of all of her friends on the bus. At first, I thought that was actually Kana on there, but it's pets in between Hijiri and Mosan. Of course, Pets is nowhere to be seen because she's off on some other planet. But, man, Kana's really still hung up on Pets.
Yeah.
Serious Arrested Development going on here. But, man, it's like they practically hooked her up to a torture device.
They kind of did.
That room that was totally empty in the tower didn't used to be. Yeah. Meanwhile, Konda's trying to win over Masaki by texting him and trying to tell him that Harumi is a terrorist and medical mechanica sympathizer, and he's being played by her. He's like, I don't know, you seem kind of suspect, buddy.
You're kind of the guy that seems to be playing people, bud.
Perhaps. He seemed really excited when the NO activated.
He did.
More quality moments between Harumi and Masaki. She was really getting into his back with her foot there. with her not shoed foot. And what childish demands she has.
I want all of the candy, and you need to rain it on me. I want a candy rain.
I like that it wasn't the candy she wanted. It was the experience of being rained on by the candy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
and she couldn't get the one curry candy. Which, like, is that a real candy? Is there actually a curry? Like, I consider myself a candy expert.
In Japan,
or a Japanese
I would not be surprised.
I never heard of this curry candy before.
It seems likely.
But it's also just that standard for, they don't have it.
Yeah. But then the curry is like kind of the adult test too, depending on how spicy it is. And I wonder if that had something to do with why Kana couldn't get it. I don't know. I just thought of that now.
That's not a bad thought.
Or why she thought it was nasty.
Yeah.
Though she probably hasn't ever tried it. Yeah. Yeah. So, evidently, they were hiding something in imaginary time space. I guess that's a good place to hide something if you don't want people to find it.
Is it sort of like having imaginary numbers?
I guess.
And yes, I've been waiting to make that joke.
Brain thing.
I mean, that seemed to be kind of what they were getting at with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Ava 3.0 plus 1.0 did the same thing, and well, obviously, the folks at Studio Kara are not working on this one, but it's all linking back to the same idea of physics at some point. So I'm not too surprised to see that those similar ideas kind of emerging there.
Yeah, the people that made this probably watched those Ava movies.
Oh yeah,
there is a lot of upskirts going on and like a little.
Well, that's
little,
how we know.
Boobage.
That's how we know it's the same director as Alternative, because
that
was something of a trademark of his. It's just like he knew he had the chance to do it, so he just worked it in as much as he could in Alternative, and he knew he only had 3 episodes of Shoegaze, so you have to at least double to triple the panty shot ratio in each episode. So
I haven't ever seen Punchline. That does seem like a show that would have a lot of panty shots.
Did he direct that?
Yeah, he directed that.
Oh, that explains it.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't realize he directed Punchline. That explains everything.
Yeah, when I found out that he made Punchline, I was like, oh, this guy makes a lot of sense for doing a Fooly Cooly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I have found the whole. I do think the idea of making continual sequels of Fooly Cooly, it is a questionable idea. I don't think anyone's in disagreement of that. But I do like the idea that you make a sequel of the original Fooly Cooly and just sort of go off in a different direction and kind of keep some of the things in common, but ultimately do something so wildly different that it's not that it's more down to earth. And then you make a sequel to that sequel, and then it deviates even further in a different direction, holding on to certain things from Alternative, less so from the original, but still, you still have that clear line going. And then we kind of get well, I mean, we're not at the end yet, so we can't say definitively where these themes have all gone, But I mean, that is the way to follow up something like Fooly Cooly. And I want to say that I kind of wish that they had only gotten Uemura to do alternative and shoegaze and not bother so much for the rest, because I think it seems obvious to go to the idea of having a different team do every season and do a different take on it. I feel that approach has kind of been a failure, but the alternative kind of through line has been a success. I think I rewatched it for coming on this podcast, and I enjoyed it even more the second time around. I love just the general approach. I love Kana. I think she's my favorite protagonist from any of the Fooly Coolies, and I think she's even better here in Shoegaze. This is like, it's not the direction I want for her, but it's like it's the direction she had to go in for her character, which is sad, but it's just, you know, like, you think about it, I can't really think of her things going any other way. But you know, at the same time, I think maybe the whole reason I appreciate alternative and shoegaze is because I have progressive and grunge to compare them to. And
perhaps.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. Are there? I haven't talked to that many people, but I get the impression that alternative is like the favorite of these sequels. Are there people out there who
honestly it's pretty mixed? There's a lot of people that feel like alternative was the better story, the better pretty much everything. Maybe it was a little bit blander in visuals, but overall was the better series, the one that didn't try to just ape Fooly Cooly things, and those people feel like progressive was just trying to ape Fooly Cooly things and didn't really have its own voice. But there are people who feel the opposite, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I much prefer alternative.
It seems like the clear and obvious, like, better way to continue a series like that.
I would agree with you, but there really are people who do prefer progressive.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know, man.
There's no accounting for taste.
Having this series without Haruko for once is so refreshing.
Right?
I mean,
it makes it more unique.
I appreciate that they would do something that bold. Like, that's again what you would think. You think that the obvious way to do this is to have a different team do a different version, with the only threads being that it has Haruko and it has Pillow's music. And now they took Haruko out. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, they took out Haruko, but they kept Medical Mechanica. Mm-hmm. They have Adamesk, and they, they're following up on a story that originally had Haruko, so they could kind of call back to her. At least they did so once.
They did. I caught funny. That and I laughed.
Pretty funny. Like, yeah. I don't have pink hair, and I'm not going to hit things with a bass. Thank you, Kana. Thank you. That sums up Haruko nicely. I mean, there are those who theorize that Harumi is actually Haruko, but
you know what?
I thought so in episode 1, but after episode 2, I don't think so.
I don't think so, and I think it would be disappointing. Like, I'm sure there's something up with Harumi. I would be disappointed if it turned out that she is actually just Haruko, or...
I mean, she has secrets.
She has secrets, for sure.
She almost revealed them.
I am actually...
Yeah. Don't do that to us.
I will say I listened to the previous episode you did on Shoegaze. I did not realize that it was a different voice actor. I thought it was Haruko's voice actresses who were doing Harumi. Kim Gasile.
I think that's how you pronounce that.
Yeah,
Kim's doing a great job of incorporating those Haruko isms.
Yeah, I thought it was Kari Waldron. I really did.
I did too until we had that episode. So
yeah,
she had some banger line deliveries in this episode.
Oh, she really does.
Oh man, sneaking a shot. That's 50,000 years in jail, buddy. It's like that's such a Nami way of doing it. Only she would ask for money.
Yeah. She would.
I'm not doing that. What you talking about? As it turns out, there's no conspiracy. I mean, there probably is, but it's not a conspiracy. It's not anything about the tower that's making Masaki's head go crazy. No. He's in love.
Well,
He's got hormones raging.
Very cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm. And Kanda decides that the best way to get him over the edge is to shoot Harumi right in front of him.
Yeah,
wow.
I don't know what the point of that was.
Well, it's to get a rise out of the boy. And I'm sure that it will, but man, ends justify the means, huh, Kanda? It was a really interesting shot. It's a really interesting shot as she's falling and the blood splatter and the candy is falling all at the same time. Like, it's a really interesting visual. Also, because of the blood splatter and the candy falling at the same time, it looks like there was like candy apples in there.
Yeah. It's like the eggs in the Going Merry scene.
Ah! I can't ever not see the eggs.
I can't either.
Sanji, please fry these. I want to eat them.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, props to the soldier that's like, come on, she's a teenager. Don't make me do this.
Yeah, he tried. He tried.
He's got some machinations. But, oh, man, that conversation that he had with Kana 3 years ago when things stopped working for Kana and they're tossing the ball around, which, tossing the ball around reminds me of Attack on Titan.
Oh, jeez.
But another bearded guy with opinions. But that conversation that they had, Kanda talking about being on the baseball team, but not even being on the starting roster of the team that goes to the Nationals, and how he's so proud of his team, but he's also very jealous of the people who actually got to play. And I'm like, yeah, man. I feel that. I feel that about a lot of things. A little too real.
Yeah, mood on that.
Little too real. Yeah, this one's actually exploring a lot of interesting things, which I think is great. I like when Fooly Cooly does that, and I think the alternative line has generally always done a good job with that.
Yeah,
So,
well, I mean,
yeah.
I obviously there's been discussion to no end of Fooly Cooly, the original, talking about just the sort of growing up story of a boy going into middle school versus alternative looking at a girl graduating high school, which on the surface you could think that, oh, we're doing the boy's story of growing up and now the girl's story of growing up, but there's actually a kind of a world of difference between those two kind of leaps in narratives in many ways, and I appreciate that they challenged that, and then they're just intensifying that further here, because we're just looking at sort of the dead end of maturity in many ways, and it's just sort of, I guess, hitting your limit and then just sort of learning how to impose some kind of authority, looking down from as best you can from there or something. I don't know. We still have a very incomplete picture of where Shoegaze is going, and I think we can't fully explore everything yet. As I know we're all a little hesitant to dig into things too much. I certainly don't want to make a lot of assumptions about what we're seeing just to be proven wrong in the last episode, like what happened the last time I came on the show. Complex C. Not everything that we said was proven wrong, but
man,
it's like, why did I rack my brain that much just for things to turn out the way that they did in the final episode of Housing Complex C?
Yes.
See, what happened is you guys didn't have me on for that episode because I could have been like, I did it right.
I speaking of Housing Complex C, I did want to point out, I think Carl has mentioned this a little bit in the grunge episodes about how when anything airs on Adult Swim Canada, it has extra commercial breaks because they do not follow the same format as Adult Swim in the US. And they can't, because that's just how Canadian cable television works. You don't sell ads for specific shows. You sell ads saying, we'll run your ad X number of times over these time slots. And that's why you have more ad breaks and the same ads running over and over again. That's kind of why they do that. And the only exception they make on Adult Swim, well, they don't run ads during like the 15-minute shows. And they also don't run extra ads during Rick and Morty. That's the one show they make an exception for. But unfortunately, like everything else that's 30 minutes has extra ad breaks put in. They're actually not that bad in Fooly Cooly Shoegaze because they've spliced the ad right after like the title card, and then again right before the credits. Not quite as clean back in the old days with Bionics, where you just have like the ad after the opening and then another ad before the ending. But it's not too disruptive overall. But maybe the worst instance of an ad being spliced into a show was with the final episode of Housing Complex C, because there was that gigantic info dump at the beginning of the episode, and they actually spliced a commercial right in the middle of the info dump just because they couldn't find a better place to do it.
Oh, that's brutal.
It was pretty bad. And I also have to point out that with these extra ads put in, it's especially bad, or they have to be careful with the decision, because it doesn't only affect the broadcast, it affects all of the streams, because Chorus doesn't have an actual streaming platform. They had one years ago, they abandoned it, and now it's just this weird mishmash of these different services that they put it on, all of which
the on-demand versions have all these hitches in them.
Yeah, and none of them are ad-free. There's no ad-free streaming option at all. They all have ad breaks, and they're all the same ad breaks that are on the broadcast version, which is really frustrating when you have a show like Fooly Cooly Shoegaze, and this is the only way to watch it unless you buy the download to own version. That's the only way you can fully escape that.
Wow.
But that's not as bad as what was bad about the broadcast for this one, is that it started 5 minutes late. So
what? Oh man,
that was pretty sloppy. And they're also only they're not even rerunning it. They're just running it once. So they are running ads for it, but you can tell there's not a lot of faith in these Fooly Cooly sequels on Adult Swim Canada.
Well, it's just the weirdest thing to be airing them before playing the original, much less airing this one before playing alternative.
They're not, if they were going to run the original and alternative and progressive, I think they would have done it by now.
Yeah, I agree.
They would have done it before grunge. Obviously, I'm pretty sure they could get them if they wanted to, but they probably have to pay extra. And someone did the math and obviously determined that
this don't math out.
They don't want to pay for it. So grunge and shoegaze, I'm glad we're getting them, but they're just kind of getting thrown out there. And
are you though?
Shoegaze, I'm glad. Grunge, I wasn't a fan of, I will say. I know you have to. There's a lot to talk about if you meet it halfway, but the downsides of grunge were just too much for me. I didn't like the animation style, the really bad homages to imagery from the original Fooly Cooly, which was just done so poorly. You have to get past those things to give grunge a fair shake, and I just couldn't do it. I
It's
did
so
like
refreshing that none of that is happening in Shoegaze.
Yeah.
Right
yeah,
now.
I liked the churu joke. That made me laugh. That was the one thing in
Oh
in
yeah, that was pretty
grunge
good.
that did make me laugh.
I did rather like that whole sequence, the whole backstory
Yeah.
of the Yakuza. Plus, they picked a really good Pillows song to pair with it.
That's another thing. In both grunge and shoegaze, the needle drops are awful. The way that the music is being put in, like when I went back and watched alternative, very good selections and very good choices with the songs to use and when to put them into the episode. I'm not seeing that at all with either grunge or shoegaze. It's just
Really?
I'm not getting that feeling. It's like they're trying to cram twice as much music into
that's
one
true.
episode. It's like you have because it's because of 3 episodes instead of 6. You're getting twice as many panty shots and twice as many Pillows songs, and it's just you don't have the balance. I was talking with Carl about this. He did point out that the Pillows are credited as music director for grunge and shoegaze, and I wonder if that means that they're the ones choosing when the songs get put in. And if that is the case,
Maybe they're not the best judges of that.
Yeah, if that is the case, like they're definitely better. They're better at making music than they are deciding how to use it. So
I thought some of the needle drops in the first episode of Shoegaze worked pretty well, but
maybe I need to watch it again, as you should do with Fooly Cooly anyway.
I mean, you always gotta watch it more than once. There's just too much to take in. That's the thing. Whenever we're watching this on Toonami, I kind of want to live tweet, but at the same time, if I take the time to live tweet, I'm gonna miss a ton. It's just it goes by usually too fast to. So this past weekend, I didn't live tweet until the commercial break, and then I hastily tweeted a bunch of things.
You have a nice long ad break to do that with. So
well, on the other hand, if I had several smaller ones, I'd be able to stick them in more gradually. But yeah, I wouldn't trade that though. I would not. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the other major thing that happened is when his NO activated, all of those things that only he could see are suddenly visible to everybody else. All those ghost thingies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, it will be interesting to see where this goes. But so far, I really want to hang on this point that there are folks out there that think a really good idea for a Fooly Cooly sequel would be the story of an adult looking back at adolescence. And you kind of getting that here.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you wanted out of a Fooly Cooly sequel, give this a shot.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not what I wanted, but I'm
like
liking where it's going. So
yeah.
I mean, it's a tough balancing act when you only have 3 episodes too, because you have this, a lot of emphasis being put on Kana and Masaki. He got a good amount of focus in the first episode, but he almost seems like a bit of a wild card at this point. It's like, how is his deal going to affect all of these more prominent things that are going on? So
I feel
interesting to see what will happen in the last episode.
I feel better about where we're at in episode 2 of this than I did in episode 2 of Grunge.
Absolutely. No question.
The episode 2 Grunge ended, I was like, okay, so now we know about the rock guy, and we're basically back to just lightly after where we left off in episode 1. And I know how this is going to go. We're going to get half an episode focused on the girl, and then we're going to finish, and it's just not going to be enough time.
And that's exactly how that went.
Yeah. So the pacing of this is working a lot better. It certainly could use some more breathing room, but I kind of feel like they're covering enough material, but not too much to make 3 episodes work with this one.
Yeah.
Whereas with Grunge, they really needed a little more time.
Mm-hmm.
Which could have been adjusted if you know, maybe didn't have such a complicated story for no reason.
Well, I'd be very curious at some point to know what the whole production story behind
I would too.
I mean, this season in particular is like, how did they wind up with doing 2 seasons that were 3 episodes each? Was that the intention? Did it get crunched down? How did they decide to make one of the seasons a sequel to one of the previous seasons? How did this, like, I mean, Grunge definitely feels like something that I don't think that what we got was how it was envisioned to be at all.
Perhaps. Yeah,
so
I mean,
I would
totally
be very
understand why they would get Uemura back to do another Fooly Cooly, but I kind of feel like both times they have shortchanged this guy. Because the first time you led with progressive, that was really polarizing, and then they kind of quietly ran alternative, and it didn't get nearly as much notice. And once again, they lead with Grunge, even though Uemura has been proven to be a good director for a Fooly Cooly story. But once again, he gets to play second string, and I'm like, man,
well,
kind of stinks. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, maybe the final episode of Shoegaze, is it just going to conclude what they're doing here, or is it going to be a satisfying end to all of Fooly Cooly?
Who knows?
We are apparently not getting any more, at least not from Adult Swim.
So they say.
So they say. Well, you know what? Now this is just something I think some speculation that I was reading on the Bad Bird website earlier today. But some people seem to think that with Fooly Cooly, that it's kind of a Fantastic Four situation where basically they have to keep making sequels in order to hold for production IG to hold on to the rights. And if they stop making sequels, then Studio Kara and Kazuya Tsurumaki will be able to get the rights back, which to be fair, should happen because they should own the rights to the original Fooly Cooly for certain. But have you heard anything like that, or heard
haven't,
speculation of something like that?
I would. It's a reasonable enough theory. There's a lot of contracts that are like that, where you'll lose the rights to something if you don't. Like this, that's the reason why Disney keeps making live action versions of beloved animated movies so that they can extend the IP longer,
or get people to ignore the fact that the stories they're adapting are from the public domain. And the more that they keep just shoving stuff out there, the more people won't think about it, which frankly does kind of work. But even if that's not literally the case, I mean, this kind of goes back to how I think just the behind the scenes stories of these Fooly Cooly shows would be really fascinating, because there definitely is an element of production. How well, we already know the whole story of how Production IG got the rights, because Gainax just fucked over Anno and Tsurumaki.
I don't think we know the whole story.
We don't know the whole story, but we know one side of it at least.
Yeah, we know Anno's side.
Yeah.
For sure.
And they definitely had incentive to make sequels.
But I almost wonder if any other company would do it. Like if they're looking for another partner, if they don't want to just do it, because they can certainly just, if they're Production IG, they can make an anime.
But are they even doing any actual animation or production work on these shows, or is it pretty much all just Studio Nut now, and then a lot of outsourcing to China and Korea? No, actually, mostly China. Looking at the
it's interesting. I mean, this is a Production IG production, but they're always farming it out to some other studios. So,
yeah, I mean, this question.
This is why IGPX remains the best Toonami original, because it had actual production IG animation.
Ooh.
and a director that had a vision.
I still haven't seen that. I haven't seen IGPX.
Oh,
I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's the greatest thing ever, or even one of the best things that have aired on Toonami, though some would say it was. But it's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's my dirty little Toonami secret. I've never actually seen IGPX either.
I mean, I kind of know what to expect based on what people have said of what it's like and what the quality is. But I'd be interested in seeing it one day. I wish it's not streaming anywhere, is it? Yeah, it's just
no. You'd have to get the DVDs from Discotheque, which is a great set.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic set. It's got both the Japanese version and the Toonami version, which differs mainly in the music.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, good stuff. I really hope they stick the landing on this one, because obviously we all kind of feel alternative didn't stick the landing. Like that was.
This is sort of the second chance for it to do that. Yes.
Yeah. Can this be the redemption arc?
Yeah. If we could stack this on top of alternative and it ends up really good, I'll be happy.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say I might even actually go out and buy the Blu-ray release of Progressive and Alternative. I was assuming that Shoegaze doesn't sour my feelings on it. Hopefully not. If it does, I mean, it's not the end of the world, because these sequels are just kind of, in a way, not something that should have existed to begin with. But I'm still happy we got Alternative out of it, if nothing else. And
they didn't need to exist, but there's something there.
A lot of things didn't need to exist.
That's true.
Yeah.
But if Carl sees value in these things, then obviously they have some value.
Definitely.
That's true.
Because the man lives and breathes Fooly Cooly.
He does. I noticed.
Yeah. As I think Carl did bring up, and we'll probably talk about this if I don't know if I'm back on the next episode, or Carl will probably bring it up. Whatever happens next time. I guess this has brought Fooly Cooly to the Canadian airwaves finally, because it never, or actually global airwaves. I don't think that Fooly Cooly. I maybe people don't realize this, but I think that the United States is the only country in the world where Fooly Cooly actually aired on television. Did it air anywhere else?
That might be true. I feel like it aired somewhere in the UK.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I think I mean it probably showed up
wrong about that.
It probably showed up on TV at some point in Japan on like ATX or something. But,
yeah, probably a satellite or cable.
But I mean, most places in the world, Fooly Cooly is just like this
it's
obscure
an OVA.
It's an OVA. It's an obscure little thing you probably couldn't even find in a local store. You had to like order it or buy it at an anime convention or something. Or that was the case when Sync Point had it. I don't know how easy it was to find those DVDs when they first came out. I had to import them. That's for sure.
I am that guy that bought the first Fooly Cooly DVD release, and let me tell you, it was like expensive and limited release and all of that.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm the guy who bought those and still has them. I still have my original set with.
I have the big box with the discs and the booklet and everything.
Yeah, the anti-aliasing on those DVDs is pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
I don't know if it's worse than the smudgy upscaling on the Blu-ray. I think you kind of can't win with this show.
Pick your poison. It's like being a Dragon Ball fan.
Yeah.
Which release is least bad? I want the good release.
That does make me wonder. They did distribute Progressive and Alternative's Blu-ray set in Canada, right?
Yep, you can get those. That's one of the only ways you can watch them. They are, I think, they've been inconsistently available for download to own. I haven't checked to see if I think they're currently up. I think you can buy them that way. But yeah, you can get the Blu-ray is widely available, and you can get, and of course now you can get Fooly Cooly the original on Blu-ray because it's a Funimation release. So it's It's everywhere. It's Sony distributed. The original series, I think that's still trapped on Funimation, right? The Funimation streaming. Yeah. So
I
again,
think it's on Hulu too, but not that that's going to do you any good.
That doesn't help me because there is no Hulu in Canada. But again, it just feeds back
it's
to
not
this
on
idea.
Netflix or Amazon or any of that.
But I think that because of the Adult Swim,
ironically, Fooly Cooly is not on Crunchyroll. Like the original is not on Crunchyroll, but they do have alternative and progressive.
I was just checking.
Sub-only.
I was wondering that,
and they won't have shoegaze or grunge either. So,
nope.
What a mess.
Those are on Max.
Yeah. Actually, well, they're. So yeah, the streaming situation. There's no way to watch it subtitled in Canada right now, because they're not uploading. They're only uploading the dubbed version onto like the Global TV app and Stack TV, which are our non-ad-free streaming options. There's no subbed version for these. Same with Housing Complex C. There's no way to watch that one subbed at all. So that's kind of disappointing. I would
that's
like to watch
unfortunate because they actually subtitle all that on-screen text.
Yeah. And the funny thing about Fooly Cooly is, despite the fact that this is ostensibly getting made for the American audience on television, they still, these are very, very Japanese. Like they don't Americanize the show at all. It still has a very distinct, very very Japanese flavor that where like you definitely would have to have things explained to you if you weren't a certain level of familiar with Japanese pop culture.
Yeah, like all of these different kinds of dagashi.
Or just the puns in the episode titles. It's just like that. It's meaningless to Americans, but then it would make sense if you're familiar with like just Japanese wordplay. So it's perplexing. But again, it feeds back to the idea of Fooly Cooly being a thing on TV that a fairly broad audience watched and remembers and wants more of. That's really only a specifically United States thing. It's not even a general Western world thing. Everywhere else, Fooly Cooly is just this kind of obscure thing that you probably had a hard time getting your hands on for a while, and then eventually Funimation got it and made it slightly easier, but still no one's heard of it. So
slightly
now
easier, but with way worse quality.
Yeah. But now that now grunge and shoegaze are getting, presumably it's going to be airing on other Adult Swim versions around the world, even if they're not simultaneous with the US version.
Yeah.
So
I think
this is the introduction
the
to Fooly. So this is Canada's television introduction to Fooly Cooly. I think that's going to be the same for other regions as well. And let me say, it's not a good introduction, regardless of what your opinion of grunge and shoegaze is. Like they are, like I said, they are running ads for it on Adult Swim Canada. I'm really curious if like people just casually watching reruns of Bob's Burgers and King of the Hill are seeing those ads and actually tuning in at midnight on Saturday just to see what this thing is.
I do wonder how the viewership is.
Is that happening? Is that happening? And what do those people think of this? I'm curious if that is a thing at all.
Yeah.
I don't think it's much of a thing. I might be describing like something that happened to one person.
Probably not. Yeah. Well,
yeah. Like on that note, Fooly Cooly Shoegaze definitely doesn't stand well on its own.
No. It's a direct sequel.
It's going to be very confusing for anybody who's not familiar with alternative or the original. Yeah, it's odd choice to to air these internationally when you didn't even air progressive and alternative internationally. Very odd choice.
Yeah, you know what? I was a little surprised. I thought that those two would be part of the deal with Chorus and Adult Swim, but
you would think.
They weren't. And also back when they first aired, Adult Swim actually had they didn't have that deal in place, and they were running a really crappy app up here that didn't function very well, but it had all the originals as they were coming out, and they did not have the Fooly Cooly sequels on there. So I think it's been just a complicated rights situation. It seems till right up until the point when the Crunchyroll partnership fell apart. It seems that after that they were able to get things straightened out. But yeah, real weird.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Interesting. That reminds me. You guys got Unicorn and My Adventures with Superman, yeah?
We do. In fact, they're running My Adventures with Superman on Cartoon Network here as well. The premieres are on Adult Swim, but most of the reruns are on Cartoon Network Canada.
Huh.
So it's they're actually putting it all over the schedule. They don't feel any kind of restraint on how to schedule it, which I think is good. More people should watch that.
I think it's very interesting that they have the disclaimer at every commercial break.
Just to give context, I showed Sketch the actual. I gave him actual recordings of the broadcasts in Canada just so he could get a taste of.
There was a poutine commercial, and I was like, "Yep, that makes sense."
Yeah, I think you also got to see some of Global's commercials advising people of the the restrictions being posed on Canadian news media because of recent legislation. I'm not sure if that meant anything to you at all. I'm not gonna get into that issue. But yeah, that's sample of the kind of things you see on Canadian TV. But yeah, I sent him some recordings just so he get a taste of what the show's like, and it's a little bit of a different. Definitely doesn't have the same flow that you get with adult states,
and definitely not the same atmosphere.
No, for sure. It's
there's no atmosphere. It's like space.
Yeah, it feels a little lonely sometimes when you have this Fooly Cooly episode just floating on its own in the middle of a Robot Chicken rerun and then a Family Guy rerun, and then it never runs again.
Yeah. That's No Man's an Island.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. It is what it is for the most part, and a lot of compromises had to be made to make this Adult Swim Canada thing work, and I'm glad they did in the end, because we went we went so long without being able to access any of this content at all, and we're finally getting it. It's a flawed result, but it's better. It's certainly better than nothing. And even with 5-minute delays in broadcasts actually starting, Adult Swim Canada still has significantly more effort put into it than I think just about any other channel on Canadian television right now, because they know their audience for that channel at the very least. They figured out.
All this folderol will be worth it for Uzumaki.
You know what? I hope it will be. I really hope that. I mean, we're not getting Uzumaki this month, as I think. Was anyone still expecting Uzumaki in October 2023?
There was people were holding out hope that maybe the last Saturday of October.
Expecting no, hoping.
I mean, they're still saying this year, or they just kind of
Well, they got that panel, so this might be old news by the time this comes out. But
that's right. That's coming up, because the thing is that, I mean, Uzumaki.
Will this be the panel when they actually tell us when it's going to air, and not just be like, "Yeah, it's coming."
Like
it's still being made.
Uzumaki is going to be a big deal. I have no doubt that when that airs, Chorus is going to push it. They're probably going to have the same level of advertising that Housing Complex C did, because I think they at least know how big of a deal Junji Ito is, and how big of a deal this show will be. I mean, this could be a defining show for Toonami as well. It could really determine
if DeMarco's threat of playing it subtitled comes to fruition, do you think they actually would simulcast that
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't think that would stop them. They don't let things like that aren't going to stop them. They've run all those Rick and Morty anime shorts, which are subtitled. I don't see why Uzumaki is going to be a problem. It's prestige television, so they'll roll with it, and I'm sure they'll promote it too. And I'm glad it doesn't have to compete with the new season of Rick and Morty, because Adult Swim Canada is only capable of promoting one show at a time, and needless to say, that's all going into the new Rick and Morty season right now. I'm glad there's no competition there. And they don't even mention Fooly Cooly on their website. It's listed on the schedule, and that's it. You go to the site, it's just all Rick and Morty stuff. Yeah. I will say,
it's rickandmortyforever.com.
It would be really nice if they could make an exception for Uzumaki with the ad breaks and only have the same number of ad breaks as the American broadcast. But they as of now still haven't made any exceptions outside of Rick and Morty and April Fool's screenings. Those are the only things where they'll have the same number of ad breaks as the US version. I would hope that the prestige element of Uzumaki would make them reconsider, but they don't make an exception for Primal. Primal's the show that probably suffers from the extra ad breaks the most. So
yeah,
it suffers. It's quite frustrating to watch Primal on Adult Swim Canada because of that, actually. We'll see what happens. At least Uzumaki is something where, I was going to say it's the kind of show that would actually maybe trend in Canada, but Twitter may not even be a thing anymore by the time Uzumaki airs on TV. So
it will always be a thing in our hearts. So Ampren was on the previous episode and had a lot to say about Fooly Cooly Shoegaze, but he sent in a talkback this week, and I want to read it. It's like going down a list. Late 20s, does not have much contact with her IRL friends, stuck at a job that they don't like with little to no days off, constantly wondering whether her decisions in life are worth it. Yeah, they specifically engineered Kana in this season to personally attack me.
He sent that in a chat I'm in with him too. Oh my gosh.
Same,
Poor
bro.
Same.
I mean, this is why no one asked for a sequel to Fooly Cooly Alternative, because this is the only direction Kana's character could have gone, and we get to experience that now.
Yeah, it's and all of the unpleasantness that goes along with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in those final moments, it seemed like she was having a bit of a breakthrough, maybe a meeting of the minds here between her and Harumi. So now that Harumi is incapacitated, I do wonder what Kana will do now. Very interesting to see where this goes.
I hope things get better for her, but I hope she doesn't get an easy way out. That's kind of what I'm feeling. But I don't think she will. Of course, they're not.
And obviously, we don't actually want the world to go back to the way it was.
No, that's the bad thing. That's the bad thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even though this world does seem pretty messed up too.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I mean, you may in your life get to a point where you think you want things to go back to the way they were.
You never do.
That's a bad trap to fall into, but unfortunately, we just see it happen over and over again.
Well, it's very easy to go, oh, things were better back in the past. I didn't have you go far enough back. We don't have the internet. We don't have we don't have YouTube. We don't have anime on demand. You got to go to the good mall that has a Suncoast video, and their selection is extremely limited.
I mean, you'll have people tell you that we were better off with dial-up internet or without internet, and I'd like to see that person go back in time and deal with that
and get really, really frustrated.
Yeah. You go back to the time when you wish that internet and accessing content through the internet was like it is now, and then and if only you could tell, like, we see all the trade-offs that we've gotten because of that. But then you go back and you realize why you wanted that stuff to begin with. So you can't win.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. A vicious, vicious cycle. Well, I think that'll do it. Anybody else have any additional thoughts?
Growing up sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the next episode, but I think growing up sucks is definitely a statement that will remain true and relevant to Fooly Cooley and Fooly Cooley Shoegaze specifically.
Yes, I think so. So, Jesse, tell the folks where they can find you.
So I am unfortunately still on Twitter. You can find me there, Jay Betteridge. I am moving most of my. I'm not a big poster, but I'm moving over to Blue Sky. You can find me on there, also Jay Betteridge. My podcast is Zannen Canada. I used to say it was kind of like the Canadian equivalent to the Toonami Faithful podcast. That's not really true anymore, because there's those parallels are becoming more limited. It's more the podcast you listen to if you want to hear me talk about what was airing on French Canadian TV back in the 1970s. And incidentally, my next episode is going to be about the French Canadian dub of Heidi, Girl of the Alps. That'll be up in the next couple of weeks. Look forward to that. You can find the podcast at zannen.ca for Zannen Canada. And
I feel like you're going to have a guest for that.
I brought back someone who I've had previously to talk about French Canadian stuff that's aired on French Canadian TV. No like of the heavy hitters like Dave Merrill and Mike Toole on this one. It's just the two of us chatting. But we get pretty in depth about it and talk not just about that dub, but a lot of the just the themes of Heidi and also the production behind Heidi, which created a lot of the very negative aspects of the anime industry as we know it today. They originated with that wonderful techniques of one director, Isao Takahata, and his loving treatment of animators. A lot of it started with Heidi, so you can learn about it in that podcast.
All right, cool. Well, you're not done hearing from myself and Laser. We will both be back for the next segment. Is that some rumbling I hear in the distance?
I think it might be time to rumble.
It might be time to rumble. When we return, we will be talking about the next final part of Attack on Titan, Part 1.
The final battle of finality, Part 1.
Something like that. We interrupt this podcast to bring you a live report from the rumbling. Sir, what are you seeing over there?
I believe I see a mountain that's been turned into a crater. And we sent some paranormalists out there because I saw some ghosts. But they got stomped too.
Oh, horrifying. Ma'am, what do you see?
I see kids dying. I see lots of kids dying, and this guy, he just decided to just go ahead and end it before he can get stomped on. It's crazy out here. It's crazy.
I saw that. He pulled that gun out. Oh, it's horrible, terrible things everywhere. Oh, the humanity over there, and a little bit over there. Oh, it's getting trampled. Oh, we're all gonna get trampled. We're here to talk about Attack on Titan, the final finale of Finality, Part 1.
For real.
Yeah.
For real this time.
For real, we're gonna get ready to rumble.
Yeah. We are ready to rumble, but are we though? Because the I mean, you might. The rumbling is a horrible thing to witness. It is absolutely ghastly. Just horrendous.
Yes.
And my brain is terrible because every now and then when a foot comes down, I think, what if it had the Monty Python sound?
And then now something completely different.
Just the.
You know, that would make it better because that'd be something completely different right afterward.
Yeah. Instead, what we have in the middle of all this horror is the juxtaposition of Aaron thinking about how horrible it's going to be.
Then don't do it, dumbass!
Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, well, do you really need to do it if you've already seen it and you have the future, vision? Can't you stop this?
I can't. Oh, okay. It's horrible.
It's all going to happen. There's nothing I can do about it.
Bitch, you're the one that's doing it. You have all the control of not doing that.
Well, it's above me now. It's above me. I can't do anything about it.
Oh, shit, boy. You're in control of it.
Yes, the fuck you could do something. But no, I'm just going to kill everyone.
Yeah, I don't want to do this because I'm
just going to kill everyone, but I'm going to feel real bad about it and cry about it to this one kid who will later die absolutely horribly.
Oh, gosh.
Excruciating detail. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Ugh. I said, oh, my gosh.
I was really hoping that was going to be a moment where he, steps past the kid and be like, okay, maybe not. No, he steps on him.
Right on.
No. Hey, maybe that's the winning strategy. Instead of, running away, she'd be, trying to dodge.
Why didn't you dodge?
Something.
Dodging the big feet. Dodging the big feet.
Zigzag. Do something. Shit.
Yeah.
Get that happy feet.
There's this one moment where people are pounding on this door. They're like, let us in, let us in. The next moment, everything's destroyed except for one of those doors.
I was like, oh, shit.
Oh,
man.
Isn't that a metaphor?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
I was about to get into my Game of Thrones reference about hold the door.
Hold on.
Oh, man.
We didn't really introduce ourselves. So I am Sketch, and I am joined by these fine people. Introduce yourselves.
I am.
Nobody knows the order. We're special.
No. I'll go first.
I'm
Umeko. Hey, y'all. I'm Umeko.
Hey, I'm LaserKid.
Yes, we are here to talk about these this long episode of Attack on Titan that is for some reason broken up into 2 chapters, which doesn't make sense because it's 3 episodes.
I don't understand why this is one thing instead of just 3 episodes, but okay.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it should be. It could work if it was this and then the other part, and it's just one long movie.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah,
that would work.
It could have been episodes. There's no reason why it couldn't have been episodes.
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. But no, we have this weird middle ground. Nobody asked for this solution.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. So after the horrors of the rumbling, we just get a little introspective moments from everybody kind of licking their wounds and getting ready for the next big battle, including a rather interesting conversation between Annie and Armin, where Annie just flat out says, hey, thanks for talking to me all those years. It would have been painfully boring otherwise. Why'd you do that, by the way? And Armin's like, come on, Annie. Don't put me on the spot.
Annie, are you okay?
Are you okay, Annie?
Jeez, it's like, I like you.
Come on.
It was like you didn't hear Hitch picking on me about the reason?
Come on, Annie. Don't be that way. And then Mikasa's like, Armin's coming with us. So.
Yeah.
She's like, you could come with us too if you really want. No.
I feel like they should be a little bit more insistent on making her come with them. Hey. But they're like, it's like, you've done enough, Annie. It's like,
has she though?
Has she though? I mean, she's like
she's
one of your strongest fighters, and she's just gonna sit on the
And
sidelines.
just let horrible things happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
she's literally been on ice for
yeah,
like years.
So she hasn't done anything in a very long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she says she's tired of fighting. What? Okay.
Tired of
All
fighting. I mean, what was those like 3 years of rest?
Yeah.
I just woke up and I'm so tired of fighting.
Yeah. But okay, girl. Okay.
No, you can't even make the argument that it feels like she just because she was awake. She she experienced those long years of
Armin talking to her.
Armin talking and Hitch complaining about her love life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was, she was kept in the know about everything that was going on. She couldn't do shit, but she knew what was happening.
Yeah. But could she not break out herself? I mean, that's never really been made clear.
No, it has not.
But
I imagine the assumption I always had, and I could be wrong. I could be horribly, horribly wrong. She could have, but then she'd have to deal with all the people who are mad at her.
Yeah. And there would have been many.
Yes.
Yeah.
The entombment very much was self-defense. That's the read I always had for it. It's like, I don't want to deal with y'all. I'll just wait here until something happens. And then something eventually happened that forced her out of it.
Yep. Pretty much. So we got to make sure that Falco and Gabi. Falco and Gabi, they're just raring to go, so we got to make sure that they don't get on the plane. Got to keep them back, and Hizuru decides to stay back too. But they got to get that plane up and running. And wouldn't you know it, getting really, really beat up in the previous fight, falling into the water and being dragged all the way from one destination to the other in the water wasn't enough, was still not enough to kill Flock.
Freaking. But
so he gets some shots off and put some holes in the tank.
Good job, jackass. You got one person killed.
Yeah. And it was Hanji.
It was.
Oh, now this one got to me.
This one got to me too. Although,
I mean, it should.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that last
she went out in a literal blaze of glory.
Yes, she was.
She absolutely did. And that last scene with her got me hard. That one.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man. I poor choice of words there. But, oh, God. Just seeing all the other people we've lost all together going, there's time for us to talk now. I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. That is, and seeing Aragon.
Yeah.
I was like,
Heaven, specifically for scouts.
Yeah, it's Valhalla, everybody.
Yes. And because when I read that in the manga, whole face was just tears.
Yep.
And then seeing it animated just made it worse.
Yeah, the words I should have used is, it hit me hard. I'm smart.
It
hit me hard. It hit me hard. I cried like a baby.
And just seeing all the people that, died before her, but especially when she was like, whoo, Aaron is a handful, isn't he? And she said that to Aaron. I was like, oh my goodness. But just seeing him again, because Commander Aaron was like my fave. And so, but at this point, I'm glad that he died before all this other shit, went down. If you ask me. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm so glad you didn't see this shit. Thank you.
Well, the problem is he did. He was just dead.
Yeah.
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 He didn't have to personally deal with it, but knowing him, he probably would have preferred that.
Yeah. But
yes, he would have.
Yeah.
Someone's got to give Aaron a spanking.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
And it might be Levi.
Levi.
He only needs 2 fingers.
Yeah, so That's what
It
he
very
said.
well could be Levi, and who better?
Yes.
Who better? Exactly.
Yes.
Man, literally too angry to die.
He is.
Yes.
He is.
He's a madman.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the rumbling, and then we had these conversations. We get them off, and they're flying off. Hanji's noble sacrifice to get them flying before the rumbling could reach them completely. Yeah. Then we're up in the air. We're heading to the destination, and everybody decides to have a pity party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except
Everybody
Levi.
saw.
Levi's like, yeah, you all suck. And they're
he has a
thinking,
one-track mind.
we can still negotiate with Aaron. We can still get through to him, maybe. So
Aaron says,
Aaron
hey,
decides-
what's up? No, you
Aaron
can't.
decides to invite everybody to the Discord again,
For real.
just to say, I'm not going to take any from you.
You're good.
You can
You
try
knock
to
that shit
stop
off.
me. You can go ahead and try. That's what you want to do. Then that's what you want to do. You are free to do that. I am free to do as I do. And there's nothing further to talk about. Later.
Basically, yeah, he hears you.
Yeah.
They make a point. Aaron could stop us anytime he wants. He can take control of us. Aaron's like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
Like, not gonna do that.
Not gonna do
His-
that. I'm going to stop over a ton of other people. But you guys, nah, you can stop me if you want. You can try anyway.
Yeah, you can try to stop me if you want to, but I'm gonna keep doing me.
His line of
So,
thinking is so twisted and stupid.
Yes.
Again, somebody needs a spanking.
Yeah.
Aaron Yeager needs a spanking.
Yes, very, very much so. Very much so. So it was like, you hurt all your friends, Aaron. If they ask real nicely, I'll let you off with one swift boot to the...
Yeah,
Give
just
him a
one.
boot to the head.
Yeah. You heard what they said. He's just like, I'm still gonna be doing me. So y'all can try to
The
stop me.
rumbling will not stop. Yeah.
Can't
Okay.
stop, won't stop the beat?
Oh.
Mm-mm. Nope.
No.
So safe to say negotiations broke down, but it's just all right. I'm trying to grip with his line of thinking here. Is like he in his mind is doing all of this to save his friends, to save the island of Parody, and the only reason that he's not stopping them is because he doesn't want to trample on specifically their freedom. Everybody else, he will literally trample on their freedom. Just gonna snatch it away. So
Yeah.
I understand-ish, but it is so stupid. It is.
Yeah, because it's like, you're my friends. I'm not going to do nothing to y'all because y'all are my friends. But to hell with everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm finna knock all this shit over.
But all
And
your
I'm not
friends that you claim to care about are trying to explain to you why you shouldn't do this thing. You're like, I'm going to do it anyway. Fuck all
Yeah.
of you. I'm going to do what I want. But you shouldn't do that. We're going to stop you. Okay, you can try. I'm not going to do anything to you. But I'm not going to listen to you either because I'm dumb.
Yes. Exactly. Follow that logic.
Mhm.
And so take that logic and get out of here.
Yes.
Yeah. And Aaron's friends aren't the only ones having a pity party. Also, all the parents of the Marleyan soldiers, the warriors, are all like, "I only used my child as a weapon. I'm not fit to be called a mother."
Yeah, Rhonda's mom.
Yeah,
just had
you're all terrible people.
Yeah, she just had a whole breakdown.
Man, that face she was making.
Oh yeah, that was creepy as hell. I was like, oh, that's creepy.
That's another one of those Attack on Titan faces where you're not entirely sure what emotion they are actually having.
Yeah, like, are you happy? Are you sad that he's a warrior?
Are you angry?
Are you angry?
I think it's a maddening happiness.
I mean, do you have gas?
Do you need food?
Yeah, do you have gas? Your tummy hurts. What's happening?
Yeah, right.
Do you need the restroom break?
That's it. That was my mommy talk right there. Does your tummy hurt?
Mm-hmm. They're all trying to get away in other flying ships, but those flying ships have already taken off. The good news is those flying ships are about to bombard the rumbling and try to stop it. The bad news is that ain't gonna do shit.
And it did not. And I was
it was the most foreseeable outcome ever.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, y'all finna get dead.
Guys,
okay.
A bunch of aircraft carriers couldn't stop these things. What are your dinky little jets gonna do?
Not a damn thing.
Drop your payloads.
Your payloads ain't crap compared to your aircraft carriers.
If he couldn't manifest the Beast Titan, that might have, slowed them down a little at least, but he manifested the Beast Titan. And as soon as he did, he was like, oh, there he is.
Oh, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him.
He's like, oh, yeah, there go that hairy bastard. I'm ready to fight that hoe. And, he has a one-track mind when it comes to,
oh, yeah.
There are so many one-track minds in this show, I swear to God.
He's like, yes, he has one track.
Included.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to kill them all, but I don't want to kill them all, but I'm going to do it. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do it. Makeup, do you want to do it or not want to?
Yeah.
Yep. So now that Armin is the leader of the scouts, because that happened,
yes.
The plan is to descend upon the founder, take out the Beast Titan, and hopefully that will stop the rumbling. And if it doesn't, then they will use Armin's power of the Colossal to, big boom.
Big bada boom. Well, after Aaron's declaration, why aren't they just doing that?
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just
he's
too far gone.
I understand the desire to want to reason with him, and if they didn't have that moment, I get it actually. But they had that moment, and Aaron's just like, "You will not stop until I am dead." I think that's pretty definitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Drop your ass on him. That's all he just told you.
But I'm sorry.
Told you to do it.
Armin just has one more burning question.
What do you mean by freedom?
What do you mean by you are free?
I have the Freedom Gundam action figure from Bandai.
Sure. And I just have to say this because they got the rumbling happening. These giant titans is crushing everything in its wake. And then you get towards the back and you just got stupid little legs. The gigantic body is like, this is ridiculous looking.
Now listen, if I were a titan, I would have been the one that slipped and fell and slid down the hill.
Yeah.
That's me as a titan. I said, that's me right there.
These titans will also trample over their own if you knock some of them down.
Stomp the shit out of them. I was like, oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
And you can't forget that they swim too. I always want to bring up that they swim.
Yeah. Yeah, they swim now. Like, excuse me? They swim?
When did this happen?
Oh, we are in trouble.
Yeah, I had to bring that up again. About swimming.
There were even people that were stuck in jail that got trampled. Like,
yeah.
Jeez. It took all walks of life.
Yep.
People trying to pile into carriages and like trains and stuff. Is like, let me in. It's like, no, man. Ain't gonna help.
No,
but I still question. Couldn't you go underground?
That would be probably the smartest thing to do, which is why no one's doing it, because the level of brain cells in the show all belong to Armin.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, just fly over the rumbling, and then it's behind you. Now, granted, the Beast Titan might show up and throw rocks, but
yeah,
you might be able to get through.
Mm-hmm.
Do we not have any mines anywhere?
No.
Yeah, that'd be a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
But
think
I
it would
also-
stop much.
There
I
is a
also
risk
wonder-
of cave-in with that, though.
Yeah, I was thinking if they went underground, would they get stuck and die
Maybe?
underground?
And then it's Gurren Lagann.
Now we know how Gurren Lagann happened, everyone.
Yeah,
Simon,
probably.
yours is the drill that will pierce the idiot known as Aaron Yeager.
Man, that would have been funnier if Bryce played both characters.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it was Yuri Lowenthal, the other guy that did that kind of voice before Bryce.
You know, I would
Him
love
and
to
Johnny.
see a fan crossover between the two universes here. Simo would just beat the smack out of her at this point. Grit those teeth, Aaron Yeager!
I mean, the Rumbling ain't got no chance against the Gurren Lagann, man. That thing can
God,
be
that
as
thing
big
is
as a galaxy.
Yeah, he just like grabs literally all the Titans in his hand, just like squish.
Yes. It's over.
Such is the ridiculousness that is Gurren Lagann.
He just picks him up and chucks him like the Beast Titan.
Just throws the Beast Titan into the sun.
Nice. If only.
Only if.
Mm-hmm.
But instead,
we have Attack on Titan.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Toonami advertising this is like 90 minutes of nonstop action. Not
No.
really.
90 minutes of a lot of talking.
It's a lot of talking.
lot of talking.
But shout out to, and like Hanji's last,
Mhm.
her last fight. I
Yeah.
love the fact that it brought me back to season 1
Yeah.
in those sequences. I was like, oh, this is so refreshing to see again.
We actually, we got to see some ODM gear usage.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it like
Good job, Mappa. Good job.
yes,
Yeah, no,
Getting-
it looks
yeah, because that was getting back to the reason why, one of the many reasons why we loved Attack on Titan in this animation is because you took it back to season 1 when somebody was using the ODM gear to actually fight and take down Titans. Because when was the last time we saw, that using the ODM gear to fight Titans? What?
Maybe season 3.
Season 3? Yeah. So I felt like that was a great call back to the reason why we all fell in love with it,
Well,
with Attack on Titan. One reason.
There was the fight in Marley when the
Yeah, there was that.
Yeah.
parody soldiers showed up in their ODM gear, and they didn't fight too many Titans, but there were
No,
some.
they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was, but yeah, oh yeah, that sequence was good back in season 4. Whenever, who was it? Dang it, I forget who it was. Was it Gilliard? When he was like, "Oh, don't y'all recognize that I'm, that I'm human or I'm a Titan," or whatever he said, and then that sequence of seeing all of the them weaving and stuff. I was like, oh, now that was
I'm a
awesome.
Titan. Are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
you think we
yeah.
don't know how to kill a Titan?
yes, and just see them weaving and stuff like that. Now that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really cool sequence.
But yeah,
We
but
don't have too many talkbacks, but I'm going to read them because I think some of these might be a good springboard for conversation.
Mhm.
Ungilded 1700 wrote in, I thought it was great. The Hanji scene is a standout to me, especially. The action, the emotion, the animation was all on point.
Absolutely.
Also, I thought the scene where Eren talks to the scouts through the paths was very beautiful visually.
it was.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'll give
beautiful
that.
visually.
Yes,
Brain-breakingly annoying otherwise.
Yes.
it was quite
Also,
beautiful.
what's up with with Ymir and little Aaron as a couple of creepy kids.
Yeah, they were very creepy.
A little shining in here.
Yeah.
Jeez, come play with us. We're gonna play the Mile Run with a bunch of Titans.
Yes. Yeah, it was very beautiful. But just a pointless conversation.
Yes.
I do like the theory that we're getting that Aaron wants them to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he might, at least on a subconscious level.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I guess in his mind, the only person that he'll allow to stop him, the only people he'll allow to stop him are his friends.
I haven't said anything for a while because I didn't have enough evidence for this headcanon theory, but I believe the reason Aaron's doing all of this, Mr. I see the future here.
I can see the future.
I believe he's pulling a freaking Code Geass here. I am going to be the ultimate enemy, and the world is going to see Paradis save the world. And now, the remnants of the world and the remnants of Paradis aren't going to hate each other because they saved the world from me. And I'll die, and who cares?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After all, he doesn't have too many more years left to live.
That's true.
Yeah, anyway.
But,
So.
my man, you don't have to kill
That
all
many
the people.
You don't have
Do
to
you
go.
have to kill everybody?
You don't have to commit this dang hard to it.
Like, I could reasonably understand you going after Marley, but
Yeah.
everything else, man, what?
But everybody?
The refugees,
Yes.
all the other countries that have never, ever done anything to you.
I think
got
he's
to go
trying
too.
to commit a little too hard to being a WWE heel.
Yes.
Shout out to WWE. Yeah.
At Christina716, Anna writes in, absolutely loved every second of this emotional roller coaster. All right. Fair.
Yeah,
Fair.
I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster. Half of my emotion is, Aaron, why are you stupid? But, you know.
Yeah,
It
well,
is emotional.
That is an
It is
emotion.
emotional.
It is an emotion. And
yeah,
I
with
won't
Han-
lie, there are some strong emotional moments otherwise.
Yeah, with Hanji, and then of
Mhm.
course them trying to convince their friend to stop murdering everybody.
Hey, Aaron!
And
Stop the murder! Nah, I won't stop the murder.
no, I won't stop. Y'all can try. Y'all can try to
You
stop
know,
me if
you
you
try to
want
stop me
to.
if you want. I won't stop you from stopping me, even though I
Yeah.
could.
But you know, I'm just gonna kill everyone.
Aaron's all like, don't stop me now.
Oh my god! I need to see a fan edit of that sequence without.
Oh,
seeing that.
yes. Oh, my gosh. To the rumbling. Oh, my gosh. Oh, it's horrible.
It's horrible,
and
but it's hilarious. It's both. It's
Just-
hilarious.
Oh, yes. It's hilarious. Oh, no. Oh, I can't get it out of my head. It's too good. I'm sure it exists. It probably exists by now.
And if it didn't, we may have just inspired it.
I hope so. Because the sicko in me just has to see this.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm crying over here. Oh, okay. And Severing Faith, that's Fayth, writes in, I'm partly sad because I don't want this to end in Aaron's death, partly confused by Aaron's motivations because I thought he was doing this merely to wipe out all the people who mistreat Eldians, but then he goes on about being free. And in regards to when we made the talkback post, which either Steven or Brittany did, they used the quote of what the Marleyan soldier said as they were doing their last fleeting attack. It's marching our hatred back upon us.
Now that was
That
powerful.
was a line, man. Oh my god.
I was like, yes. He was like, look at all the hate that we spewed out, and now it's coming back to literally stomp us out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So.
And to that, Severing Faith said, and going off that quote, I was pleasantly surprised to see someone from the other side finally get some freaking common sense. It came far, far too late for it to fully matter, but still.
Yeah,
Yes,
that is right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Like I said, all the brain cells of this entire show just all belong to Armin.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
He's got a lot of room for brain cells, especially when he's a colossal.
Yes. Well, it's like One Piece. The entire brain cells of the Straw Hat crew belong to Nami.
Yes.
It's true.
And share a little bit with Robin.
Some Robin do, yeah.
Yeah. Robin has just enough brain cells to share some important factoid every arc, basically.
Pretty
yes.
much.
She's gonna give you a little history. And then she's gonna say something more.
Yeah.
Why you have to say that?
It's her whole shtick.
That's what she does.
We can't talk about One Piece right now.
The three of us are always going to revert to talking about One Piece.
It's true.
We cannot help it.
It's true.
We can't help it.
Oh, God.
It's absolutely
Sorry,
true.
Attack on Titan. Sorry.
I'm not.
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry in the least.
Oh, man.
So this was the appetizer for the main course that will air eventually.
Yeah, sometime.
I'm pretty sure all the falderall of actually getting the rights to play this one means that they won't have to go through as much trouble once the other one has aired, which does air in November in Japan, and then it'll probably take. Well, we're hitting into holidays, so that could slow things up a bit, but I would figure probably about a month, maybe the later end of November, it would potentially be dubbed. They might try to get that done before the holidays.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope it doesn't take as long as getting this one.
Yeah,
so
that
we
was.
Can go ahead and.
It was a long time.
Go ahead and wrap this up. Yeah, let us go ahead and wrap this up like Christmas because everybody is tired. So.
Pretty much. Like, it just doesn't. Speaking of things that don't make sense. And this is if, we don't know for sure, but it's a reasonable theory that Crunchyroll was really fighting Toonami on who would get to premiere this dub. Why be so petty about it when you literally get to air it within the same day?
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Why hold that off for like 6 months just to be petty? It doesn't make any sense, and it just ticks off your subscribers.
Yeah.
Yes, because it literally crashed the site, didn't it? When it premiered. I think it did. I can't remember that far back because
you're
my
talking about the dub or the simulcast?
The simulcast.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're still gonna get that traffic because people, even though people are very tired and want this to wrap it up, they're still gonna watch it. So what are you losing?
Nothing.
For holding
really.
them up? Not losing a damn thing.
Nothing. It's
so stop being an ass.
Yeah. Seriously. If that's what it is, cut it out.
Cut it already.
Out. Don't pull that crap on part 2.
Part 2, the final for real final. This is.
Yeah. We mean it this time.
For real this time.
Except it was recently announced that there's going to be a new chapter of the manga.
Something like that. Yeah, and I was just like, oh, please stop.
Please just let it end. In the words of Lotor, end it.
Yeah, for real.
And I loved Attack on Titan so much, and I still love it, but y'all are killing me now. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Stop it.
Mm-hmm. And I will just go ahead and say that there are things that alluded to the end in this long episode. Just a little things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
You know him if you see him.
Or you're
That's
me,
all
have
I'm
no
gonna
idea.
say. Yeah, but once you see the next part, you'll be like, "Oh, that's what he meant."
Oh, I see.
And those of you who have read the manga probably know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I am the representative of the anime only, because I am, in fact, anime only for Attack on Titan.
Hey, yeah. That's fine. I just, at some point, was like, all right, I got to see how this ends. This is taking
Me
too
too.
long.
Me too. I was like,
Terrell,
let's go ahead
Terrell
and
was
read
like
this.
that too, but
Yeah.
unlike Terrell, I still feel compelled to see how the anime handles it.
The
Yeah.
rumors
And so
were-
far, pretty good.
The rumors I always heard was, oh, they might change the ending, but I don't know if that's really the case.
I really
Yeah, I
don't
heard
think
that.
so.
I heard that rumor too, that for the anime they were going to change it since everybody bitched about how the manga ended.
I
And
don't
I was
know
like,
how they would change it to
yeah, well, me, I was
fix
like,
anything.
what? Well, how it ended, I was like, what did y'all expect? What did you expect?
So you're telling me that Eren Yeager does not have a happy ending? I'm shocked.
You're just like, what do y'all expect the outcome of this? Okay, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Eren Yeager's gonna die a horrible, painful death, and it's gonna be sad. But he kind of earned it.
All I'm gonna say is, what did y'all expect to the end of it? What did y'all expect?
Well,
And that's all I'm gonna say.
I'll be
Told
honest.
you mine.
How they finish it, I mean, how they finish this fight is not what I was expecting.
Oh yeah. Oh, true. True. 'Cause I
But
was like,
how everything happens after that, I think he generally was expecting at least most of that. Except for maybe one more thing that's kind of a legendary manga meme at this point. If you know, you know. I do wonder how that if they'll change that at all, or if they'll just leave it as is. And I hope they leave it as is, because it's so much better that way. Enough vague allusions to future events. Oh, right. One more important thing. At one point, Falco and Gabby run up to Annie as they're still on the boat, and they're like, Falco just had this dream, you know, he imagined he was flying, and can't the Titans like inherit the powers of other Titans? They said that the female Titan was really good at that, and it's like, yeah, you wouldn't believe what they had me eat. Ugh.
Ugh.
So they're implying that Falco has unlocked some of the potential of the Beast Titan, which is interesting.
yes.
Very interesting. There may yet be a way to drag Annie into this final confrontation,
Annie.
but that will have to wait until next time.
Whenever that is.
Oh, I really hope it's this year. I mean, if it's early next year, whatever. But if you gotta wait till like spring, that's ridiculous.
It
Coming
is.
2025.
The final end for real. Okay, all right.
We did it for real this time. We swear, you guys. This is really the ending.
You know, they could play all those OVAs. They dubbed them finally. They're not going to do that.
Probably not.
And it's largely supplemental material, though some of it is interesting.
I hadn't seen it. Maybe I need to watch it eventually.
Yeah, they got, I think all of them are available dubbed on both Funimation and Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
But they're definitely on Funimation.
I
So
will check it
They're
out.
probably on Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. think that'll about do it, unless either of you have any additional thoughts.
My additional thoughts are just screaming at Eren Yeager, and I think I've done that enough.
But have you
Probably
really?
not, but I don't think everyone needs to hear me scream at Eren Yeager for 30 minutes.
Oh, I really like the insert song that played when Hanji was showing off her stuff.
Oh, that was so
that
good.
was cool. That was
so
really cool.
Do either of you know who the singer is?
No, and I was going to try to find out.
Sounded like Amy Lee from Evanescence. Though obviously not singing entirely in English.
No, but I was going to find that out.
Yeah.
It was great.
I couldn't find any information about the insert songs, only about the ending song, which is another SIM song.
Yes.
Under the Tree. Good track.
Yes.
I like it. Under the Tree. Ooh, is that symbolic? Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is very.
Yeah.
When I saw the name of the song, I said, "Ooh, ooh."
I wonder if they're gonna use that song again, or if there will be another song for the last parts. I guess we'll find out.
They should have saved that for the last part, in my opinion. But I don't know nothing. So
Maybe. I feel like they would probably go with something a little bit more somber, perhaps.
Maybe
at the end there. I don't know. Let's just play Linkin Park in the end.
Yes.
Because in the end, it didn't even matter.
Not at all. Oh, Linkin Park. They were awesome.
Yes. Oh, if you had any additional thoughts about this long special of Attack on Titan or anything else Attack on Titan or anything else Toonami related, you can email us at podcast@ToonamiFaithful.com. You can follow us on Facebook.com/ToonamiFaithfulPodcast and on Twitter @Toonami Podcast. You can listen to the podcast on just about everything, including Apple Podcasts, CastBox, Deezer, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Overcast, Podbay, Podbean, Podcast Addict, Radio.com, Spotify, or on the TuneIn Radio app. And you can find every episode of the podcast stream online at SoundCloud.com/Toonami Faithful Podcast and get the latest news by following @Toonami News on Twitter and read the news, views, and reviews on ToonamiFaithful.com. Umeko, tell them where they can find you.
Alrighty. I'm on the Twitter at BLU_temptation. And you can find my old Attack on Titan reviews and editorials on ToonamiFaithful.com.
And Laser, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at LaserKid Prime. You can find my Toonami focused editorials right here on Toonami Faithful. And occasionally you can now find me on the, well, not now, it's been a while, but you can generally find me on many of V-Lord's podcasts, the V-Lord podcast universe that I meaned into existence.
And you can find me on Twitter at Sketch1984. Yes, I know it's X.com now. I do not care. It is still Twitter.
It's still
Twitter
Twitter.com, guys. It's still Twitter.com.
It's Twitter to me.
Yeah, Twitter.com still works.
That's it.
Still
His
works.
mama called him Twitter. I'm calling him Twitter.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I forgot a talkback, and it seems like a fine one to end things off with. So, at Nicholas_Whaley wrote in, I rumble with anticipation for the conclusion. Very nice. Very nice.
God.
Very nice, Nicholas. Very nice.
Oh,
Very
God,
nice.
That was a good one.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Honestly, I should have held it longer.
It was perfect.
Always appreciate a good Rocky Horror Picture Show reference. Very good. Very good.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Toonami Faithful Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to share it with your friends if you think they might be interested. And until next time, we're dodging the rumbling.
Poorly.
What you gonna do, brother, when Rumble Mania comes for you?
Rick and Morty.
I'm telling you, man, you're making a big mistake here.
Sorry to bother, boss. I caught this punk selling crystals on our turf.
You big, precious moron! This is Morty, the kid who hangs with Rick Sanchez.
Rick Sanchez?
Underworld legend, chaotic neutral sci-fi guy. Hey, pal, you good? You whole?
You guys have milkshakes?
We will learn what they are and get you one.
All new Rick and Morty next Sunday at 11 p.m. only on Adult Swim.